Hello everyone! Welcome back to another banner reaction. I'm DTM as always, and we're here for the last ever banner of Book 6, and this one I'm personally very hyped for. Based on past trends, we should be getting either a double, legendary / mythic banner. Like last year we had Eitri and Thor, and the year before that we've had Triandra and Freya, I believe. Sorry, Freyr. Yeah, you're still stuck in purgatory, I guess. So yeah, my hopes for this current one is Embla. I mean, I think that's to be expected since she is like that final boss that normally shows up. And my hope is Legendary Veronica. Oh my goodness, I really, really want Legendary Veronica. I mean, they have the new figure that they just announced, right? So it has to be Legendary Veronica, right? I just want her because she looks super cool, and also the music theme of her Chapter 12 fight was amazing. And yeah, without further ado, let us begin. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, let us begin. Oh my goodness, the hype is up the roof. Legendary Veronica, I need you to be here. New legendary and mythic hero. Okay, that improves the chances of... Okay, it's Veronica. Yes, let's go. Oh my goodness, this is actually so cool. Princess Rising. I think that's a different subtitle compared to what was originally data mined. But yeah, I know... Okay, we'll definitely... Panic Smoke and Enclosure. Huh. Panic Smoke looks really cool. I see penalty doubler in the text, which we haven't actually had before, besides, I guess, the pledging effects. Yeah. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Having Xander there, now that I guess Bruno died. RIP. I guess that's cool. I always love her animations. The animation looks so good. Oh shit, I forgot to check what season she's in. I would imagine Fire, right? And yes, we have Embla. Okay, so it's just as predicted.
Mortals once loved me as they do Asker.
Is that Astra? No, that's Dark, I think. I need to catch up on my seasons. It would make sense if it's Dark. Wait. Is that... Wait, what does she have? Severance. Oh my goodness! Whoa! I saw cannot activate Savior and I think undefended. Okay, I am so hyped now. You have no idea. Is that Dark though? Or I forgot what season that is. It has to be Dark, right? Yeah, I think that's Dark. Yeah, nothing for poor Anima season. Come on, IS. So yeah. I guess this is my wish that saves will be dead, at least in half of Ether Raids. But let's see what she shares with. I mean, oh, okay, so Veronica's a wind legendary. That's interesting. And with legendary Nana, so that's, I think, Earth and Wind. So that's actually a pretty decent share, I'd say. And this lasts until mid-December, so that's quite a bit. And of course, we have our Fey Pass Spark as usual. And we, of course, with the Spark, you get the Celestial Stone. Okay, I need to check what these skills are, because I have to say, there might be some very hype moments. Oh yeah, this would also affect Chaos Season too. I keep forgetting that. Also, why did they use this music and not I think it's called Destiny Closes In? The Veronica battle theme in Chapter 12. Alright, let's take a look at her skills. Enclosing Dark. I believe this was data mined. Accelerate special trigger if unit initiates combat or is not adjacent to an ally. Grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, neutralizes effect that prevent units follow-up attacks, and the following effects will occur during combat based on the number of foes within 2 spaces of target, excluding target. If equal to 1, inflicts speed res minus 4 on the foe. If greater than or equal to 2, inflict speed res -8 on the foe, and foe cannot counterattack. If unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before the foe can counter. Okay, so yeah, this is basically the exact same as the enemy version in Chapter 12, and as what was discussed in the data mine. So basically, the more friends you have near 2 spaces of you versus Veronica, Veronica gets more and more effects. If it's just 1 within 2 spaces, it's inflicting just speed res -4. But if it's more than 2, or if it's 2 or more, then it's speed res -8, and then you also cannot counterattack if you have 2 friends within 2 spaces of you. This is versus Veronica, so obviously just flip that perspective around if you're using Veronica. Fire Sweep effects I always really love, and obviously she also has half an NFU, slaying, attack speed +6, and also it looks like Desperation, as long as she initiates combat, which is really cool. I really like that. Yeah, this looks really... Yeah, I mean, we have seen this before, so this is sort of expected, but I do think this is a very powerful weapon. Being red is a bit iffy, since we do have a lot of powerful blue threats like Ascendant Idun, Brave Hector, Brave Dimitri, but I think this could still work very well because, again, Fire Sweep is just such a powerful effect. And because of the friend condition, I'm just going to call it that, the no friend conditions, this is definitely very effective against save balls, where they're generally clumped together, so you generally have more than 2 foes within that 2 spaces of your target. Obviously, for Omni Tank, generally you can at most get 1, but I think there could be ways to play around that. But again, if it's just like, say, Brave Dimitri and Elamine together, and that's it, obviously you don't get the Fire Sweep, so that might hurt. But yeah, what's this Enclosure do? I can't tell if this is a perf or inheritable. I guess it has to be a perf because Veronica doesn't have another perf. Yeah, Panic Smote is definitely going to be inheritable. So yeah, I guess this is her perf special. Boosts special damage by 25% of unit's attack. If special triggers, neutralizes, reduces damage by X%. Effects from non-special skills. And neutralizes effect that inflicts special cooldown charge -X on unit. Okay. So basically, as long as she doubles, she's always going to get this off. And she's always going to be able to reduce the damage. This is the piercing that like Lethality and Deadeye have against damage reduction, which is obviously super strong. We haven't gotten one for mages in general yet. I think the only other one for mages is Sublime Heaven from Legendary Male Byleth. So having another one is super good. Of course, what we really need is one that's inheritable to all mages, but still, I really like this. And I imagine a less good version of this will be like for the rest of the mages, I would imagine. So yeah, obviously piercing through damage reduction is very good. Panic Smoke 4, what does this do? After combat, inflicts attack speed, defense res -3, and panic on target and foes within 2 spaces of target through their next action, and grants foe penalty doubler to unit and allies in cardinal directions. Wait, what? Foe penalty doubler inflicts penalty on foes all stats during combat equals to any current penalty on each of those stats through their next action. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So yeah, this is like the Plesion effect, essentially, which I guess makes sense. I guess technically we now have an official name for it now, the foe penalty doubler. I'm always going to still call it the Plesion effect, though, just because it's more thematic and honestly a lot easier to say. But yeah, it makes sense. It's not as strong, I would argue, versus like the Pathfinder, the dodge one from the speed. But I think this is better than the attack smoke version, where I think you get like, was it guaranteed follow-up or deny follow-up? It was one of those two. Yeah, overall, like, Veronica's looking very strong, especially since she's a cav. She has Trace, which means that she has that Canto maneuverability, which is very good in Arena. Especially Wind Season, too. Wind Season is going to be very fun. And yes, obviously as a modern legendary, she does get pair up. Again, this animation is just so good. I love it so much.
Enough of you.
And yeah, this also boosts the damage by her attack. And I'm going to assume that that mage did not have any damage reduction. Alright, now this is going to be the one that's very, very spicy. I'm assuming a dark season here. She gets extra movement, it appears. I will say, her beast form is so good. I love it so much. Alright, what do you have? Oh my goodness, okay. Accelerate special trigger. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +5 to unit during combat, inflicts penalty on foes' attack speed defense during combat equal to the number of foes within 3 columns or 3 rows center on unit. Max 9, neutralizes the effect that inflicts special cooldown charge -X on unit, and also if the number of foes within 3 columns or 3 rows center on unit is greater than 2, neutralizes effects that guarantee foe follow-up attack and inflict special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. And then the rest is the beast effects. Yes, it is. Yeah, and because she is a flyer, even though she doesn't fly in her sprite, she gets extra movement, which is really cool. Yeah, the thing that was strange about this weapon, because I think it's the same as the one in Chapter 13 as an enemy, is that she has a deny follow-up, or like, not deny follow-up, the half of NFU that's more defensive rather than offensive, which is really strange because as a beast flyer, generally you're more aggressive, so you want the offensive half of NFU, where your own follow-up attacks are not being denied. So that was definitely very interesting. Obviously, though, I do think this is pretty strong overall. Like, neutralizing the tempo, having like that half of tempo is really good to always ensure that your specials are going to proc. That seems to be the new thing that's going on right now. And also inflicting guard, as long as like there's more than 2 units within that 3 row 3 columns. 2 foes, sorry, is also very strong and is pretty consistent, I would say. And anyways, we have a new beast skill, apparently. Beast Agility 3. Is this the beast support that Oblivion has been wanting for so long? Wait, what? Beast Agility 3 removes the condition to transform. Wow, okay, I guess we're just going with that now. If unit speed is greater than foe speed, neutralizes effect that prevents unit follow-up attacks during combat. Okay, so there's the offensive half of NFU. So I guess that makes sense that she would have like the defensive half of NFU in her weapon. She has the offensive half in her B. Now this is inheritable, so you can give this to, say, like Pirate Tip Arn and whatnot. I'd say this is most effective for flyers, because flyers generally are the ones that benefit the... I think they have the strongest transformation effect, personally. The extra movement is just so good. And obviously, having the offensive half of NFU here is also very strong for something like Pirate Tibarn, or even Nasala, even. Just for Gale Force in general, I love this a lot. But anyways, what does Severance do? At the start of turn, inflicts undefended and feud on foes within 3 columns and 3 rows center on unit. At start of turn, if foe is within 3 columns or 3 rows center on unit, it neutralizes any penalty, excluding penalties inflicted at the start of turn, and grants dodge to unit. Wait, what? What does this do? Wait. At the start of turn... Okay, so at the start of turn, you inflict undefended feud to the foes. And then if there is a foe within 3 columns or 3 rows center on unit, you neutralizes your own penalties, excluding... So this is sort of like, I guess, odd recovery for yourself. And you also get dodge. So that's really spicy. Now, what is undefended? Unit cannot be protected by Savior through their next actions. Y'all, it finally happened. We have some sort of counterplay to save skills. Hallelujah. Happy Christmas, everyone. Even though it's like literally 1 month until then. But yeah, This is dark though, not anima. Anima is where it's needed the most, I'd say, because obviously Elamine is just running havoc in anima. I mean, I think Dark Season was generally fun. This is assuming this isn't Dark, which I believe it is. Like Dark Season, I think was okay, just because Medius existed, and also there was no Elamine, so it was all right. But I do think this will definitely shake up the meta, which I think ultimately is very good for the game. Because let's be honest, the meta these days is basically Catria Balls versus Save Balls. And it's been that way for over a year now. Like, we've had no meta shifts in Ether rates from the Catria Ball versus Save Ball meta. Again, which basically started since Ascended Fjorm released, which is over a year ago, again. So, even though, like, I do think this might be annoying to a lot of people, ultimately, I do think this is good for the game because, one, it shakes up the stagnant meta we've had for, like, over a year. And two, this is my personal opinion, but I do find that saves, in general, encourage more pay-to-win in terms of, like, AR rankings. And reduces, like, how should I say this? Like, save skills, I think, reduces engagement because there's not a lot of agency with like save tanking, as opposed to even say omni tanking. Because in omni tanking, you still have to have agency over positioning, and there's that skill expression there. Saves, unfortunately, I don't think do that, and therefore, I think honestly, sort of makes people get bored of the game because you're not allowing that agency with that save skill. I can do a whole video on that, but it's also because of that lack of agency that I also think it's more pay to win with saves, because if there's no skill expression, then it just becomes stat checks, which obviously just is influenced by how many merges you have. And so in that way, I think it's more pay to win. So, but yeah, I do think this is very good to shake up the meta. And I'm very excited to see. Hopefully I can summon Embla. I'm not going to actually get her, though, even though I would love to. I do not have the orbs. But I do think this is a very strong banner. And this is not even just for Dark, but you can also use this in Chaos as well, which is going to be very good because, like, obviously, Chaos Season I think is even a worse state than Anima because, obviously, you could just use Element there, too. But yeah, very spicy units. Wow. You know, when Embla's weapon was first data mined, it was sort of underwhelming, but I think opinions will sort of shift now. Alright. Let's take a look at this. So as for the share, let's see. Red is very strong. You get a wind and an earth legendary, so if you still need like a wind or earth core, I believe Nana's earth. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she's earth. Then obviously having more merges would be very good. Unfortunately for Embla, you only really need one copy of her, so having more merges of Embla doesn't really do you too much, unless of course you want more like of that beast skill. But in general, I'd say Embla is the one you definitely don't want merges of. So in that sense, it sort of weakens this share. Obviously, having one copy of Embla is extremely valuable, but when talking about summoning with like 1,000 orbs, for example, you definitely do not want multiple copies of Embla. So Embla does unfortunately weaken this share, even though she is a very strong unit. But yeah, Veronica and Nana are very good. Good set of legendaries to get merges on. I'd say they're probably going to be the top of their class. What else do we have? We have Colorless with Micaiah, Celica, and Bramimond. That's not really a good share. Only Micaiah's worth merges, and honestly, I don't think that is worth it. Like, Bramimond doesn't benefit with more merges. Celica doesn't benefit from more merges. We've already had Infantry Speed Tactic 2, so even Celica's Infantry No Follow-Up skill is not as valuable anymore. And yeah, so I'd avoid Colorless, personally. Green has Hell, Emir, and Dagger. And again, only Dagger here is worth merges, being an offense mythic. Hell being defense, you don't really need merges for, and Ymir is obviously just a normal unit. So yeah, only Dagger is worth anything to summon on for green, and therefore I don't think green is that good of a share either. Now blue is interesting. You have Sita, which I believe is water. Deirdre, I forgot what Deirdre was. I think it's earth or maybe fire. One of those two. And Saros. Now obviously Saros is not a good share. Like, you do not want multiple copies of Saros. And honestly, I think Saros is definitely starting to show her age, especially now that Arvel exists. Like, Arvel is just so much better than any other 7th slot anima mythic. So that is a bit unfortunate. Asita, she's not my favorite water legendary. I think there are a lot better water legendaries than her. I personally think legendary Crom is still better than her. But I mean, if you're a Sita fan, she could be worth it. And obviously, you might enjoy. She's a decent option, I guess. A very anti-meta option, I would say. Deirdre is Earth. I just checked. So unless the wiki is lying to me, yeah. Joel's been saying that Deirdre is super underrated, and it's not like I don't disagree with that. It's just that I don't think she's that unique compared to something like Legendary Nana. Like, Nana being able to Kanto is very strong, and movement is super important in Arena. And I think of the Earth legendaries, I'd prefer Nana over Deirdre personally. But I mean, it's not like she's a bad investment for a legendary. So, I mean, and obviously as a legendary with Sita, you have those two legendaries sharing, and therefore that has value there. Unfortunately, Saros does drag it down. So yeah, overall, I'd say red. Well, obviously red is definitely the top. Next, I would say is blue. And then colorless and green are basically both bad. So don't even bother. And yeah. Wow. Very interesting banner. It definitely lived up to the hype in my personal opinion. And this banner does last for roughly 2 weeks. So we can see what book 7 has next. It's always a good idea to at least wait to scout out potential future books. Unless, I guess, you're a huge Veronica fan, which I'm sure many people are. But yeah, overall, those are my thoughts on this banner. Very excited to finally have Legendary Veronica in the game. And Embla is going to shake up the meta. And I couldn't be happier. Actually, I should have waited to make that top 10 meta impactful unit video until now. But oh well, too late for that. Maybe I'll include Embla in the next one if the meta actually does shake up. It might not. It genuinely might not, and we might still have Catria Balls versus Save Balls, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this reaction. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on Veronica and Embla. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone!